Think of this for a moment. You're just 16 years old. You've been taken captive, dragged across the seas, enslaved, and left to die in a foreign land. You have nothing. No family, no hope, no future. And then, in the middle of it all, you hear a voice. A voice so loud, so clear, that it changes everything. This is the story of St. Patrick. This isn't just another story of faith. No, this is the story of a boy who went from slave to savior of a nation. The story of St. Patrick is one we often overlook, but one that is packed with lessons we desperately need today. Did you know that St. Patrick was not Irish? He was captured by Irish raiders, brought to their land, and became a slave there. But it's this very land, the land of his captors, that he would later transform. His mission wasn't just about converting people. It was about answering a call from God in the most unexpected place. But how did Patrick rise from a captive to become the greatest missionary Ireland has ever known? How did he answer that call despite everything? At just 16 years old, Patrick was taken from his home in Britain. Imagine, one moment he's with his family, and the next, he's bound in chains and dragged across the seas to a foreign land, sold into slavery. He was forced to work as a shepherd in the wild, untamed hills of Ireland. The boy who had everything, wealth, family, comfort, was now isolated, alone, and desperate. Can you think of what it must have felt like? A young boy, torn from everything he knew, left to fend for himself in a land where he was a stranger. I know, for many of us, when life seems dark, it can feel like we're in the lowest of lows. It's during those times, just like Patrick's, when we often question, where is God? But here's the remarkable thing. It was in that very moment, in the solitude and isolation, that Patrick found God. Not in comfort, not in a beautiful church, but in the silence of his captivity. It was during those years as a shepherd, years spent alone, that Patrick's relationship with God grew stronger. In the midst of his despair, God was working. 6 years passed. Patrick had grown accustomed to the hardship, but then something remarkable happened. He had a dream, a vision. In this vision, God spoke to him, saying, "Your ship is ready to take you home." After 6 long years, Patrick finally saw a way out. But was it a dream? Was it really God's voice? Or was it just a wishful thought, a fleeting hope? Patrick could have ignored it. He could have stayed where he was, in relative comfort, freed from the harshest parts of his captivity. But instead, he acted. Patrick took the risk and trusted in God's call. He believed, even when there was no guarantee, even when it seemed impossible. Patrick didn't wait for another sign. He simply acted. God's call often comes in ways we don't expect. It doesn't always come with clear directions. In fact, sometimes it's unclear, uncertain, and uncomfortable. But like Patrick, we're called to act in faith. We're called to trust, even when we're not sure of the outcome. Patrick returns home to Britain, reuniting with his family. He's free. But here's the twist. He receives another vision. This time, it's a vision of the people of Ireland, calling to him, asking him to return. The very land that had enslaved him, the land where he'd suffered, now called to him. Could he go back? Could he return to the place of his pain, of his betrayal, and bring healing? Think of the turmoil Patrick must have felt. He was free. Why return to the place of his captivity? But Patrick knew his mission wasn't to seek vengeance or even to find peace with his past. No, his mission was to love, to forgive, and to share the gospel in the place where he had been so deeply broken. Patrick's return wasn't just about geography. It was about the power of forgiveness. It was about a man who refused to let past pain dictate his future. Patrick could have chosen to let bitterness and hurt rule him, but he chose something far more powerful: love and faith. Patrick didn't stop at conversions. He didn't just preach. He lived among the Irish, becoming one of them. He built churches, schools, and communities that transformed Ireland from paganism to Christianity. But the miracles, did Patrick really drive the snakes out of Ireland? Was that a literal event? Or is there something deeper at play here? Patrick didn't seek fame, power, or glory. He wasn't in it for himself. He served with humility. And through his faith, God worked miracles, not just in the physical realm, but in the spiritual lives of countless people. The miracles attributed to him weren't about him. They were about God working through him. So why was Patrick chosen? Why did God choose him for such a great task? The answer lies in something every one of us needs to hear. Patrick's life is a reminder that God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And just as God worked through Patrick, he wants to work through us too. Patrick wasn't chosen because he was perfect or powerful. He was chosen because he was willing to trust, willing to forgive, willing to step into the unknown. And that is something that each and every one of us can do today. If St. Patrick's story resonated with you, if it's made you reflect on your own journey of faith, then I encourage you to share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Don't let the power of this story remain just yours. Spread it. Subscribe to our channel so you can continue to walk in faith with us and share in the community of believers who are committed to growing spiritually and answering God's call. You don't have to do this alone. Join us in this journey of transformation. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a growing community, a community where you'll be inspired, challenged, and equipped to face life's toughest challenges. Don't miss out. Together, we'll walk with God as we learn to live out our faith in powerful ways. St. Patrick's story is not just a story of the past. It is a living, breathing call to action for us today. He answered God's call, despite the challenges, despite the fears. And because he did, an entire nation was changed. God is calling you today. What is he asking you to do?